Hey everybody, welcome to Discraft Underground Interviews. Tonight we have Uli, and we're talking about where he's at with the road to recovery and the Disc Golf Pro Tour buyout news. Wes?
Yeah. Well, we want to thank Uli for joining us, and obviously we want to thank Alex. He's taken over as our technical director for these videos, so big thank you to you too.
Okay, so here we are. The MVP Open just ended for us, and there's a lot of big news, but I think the biggest thing for us right now is where are you at, Uli, with your road to recovery? We've been kind of tracking you since you had that surgery. So what are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Thank you, Wes, and good to have you up in the box helping us out with these videos, man. Nice to meet you. That was a nice surprise, man.
Awesome.
My road to recovery is getting there, honestly. It's been about a month and a half, and I've been working really hard, about as hard as they'll let me to get back out there. It's a really slow process, but I'm ahead of schedule still, which is my main goal is to stay ahead of whatever their time frame is for my recovery, which is usually right around 8 to 6 months. And I'm trying to get that down to that 6 month to maybe 5 month area if I keep going really, really, really hard. The good news is I've said this in a few other interviews, but the surgery went really well, and it took to my new ACL like really fast. So the healing process underneath is the most important thing, and that allowed me to really jump ahead of the curve. And my PT is like going great, and it's actually going so good that they cut me to. I had 2 appointments a week, and now I only have 1 because they don't want me to get too far ahead because of the healing process. So it's kind of a bummer, but it's a good thing at the same time. So yeah, things are going well for me.
Yeah. So you're talking about your PT. What are the things you're working out on? What are the workouts you're doing? Just kind of keeping yourself in shape. And as you said, you're getting ahead of it.
Yeah, just a lot of core stuff, a lot of honestly just monotonous movements with your legs that you would normally not even think about. Just really strengthening the kind of the smaller muscles um, around your knee, along with those big muscles, your quads and different things like that. So just really, it can be something like I like stand on a foam ball, and I'll have another ball and I bounce it off the wall and just kind of balance on that left leg so that you're constantly moving in different directions, and your feet are like, triggering those other muscles that you really don't use because unfortunately, I was off of it for 2 weeks, and so all those muscles pretty much just die off, and there's nothing there. Like right after surgery, my leg was like just basically one size, so which was pretty funny. And so I had to really start slowly building up those muscles again, and that's really what I'm doing. Like I said, the ACL is taken really well to my leg, and so I was able to really jump ahead of it.
Yeah. So what's the next step to a full return? After you're focusing on your PT, getting in that 6 month time frame, what's the next thing you're going to step to?
Well, right now I'm just focusing on what they're telling me to do. The one thing that I'm doing by myself as of this week is I'm going on a pretty strict diet. Not being able to exercise like I in the regular season, like I exercise fairly often, and especially when I'm not disc golfing, I exercise like a ton, almost every day. So with this, I'm not able to do that cardio, and so I put on a lot of excess weight that I'm not used to having, um, and and so now, with this diet, I want to slim down again and I want to lose about 15 pounds probably. My PT said that every pound extra that you have on your body is like something crazy, like 100 extra pounds on that knee, or like 10 extra pounds on that knee. So if you're 10 pounds overweight, that's 100 pounds extra that you're putting on that So if I can shred those, then my recovery is going to be way easier. I'll be able to do a lot more. The next stage, which is just a time frame, honestly, like at this point, I'm so ahead of schedule that I'm literally waiting on my time frames. Like it's annoying, because I feel like I can do these other things, and so does my PT, but it's protocol for them in case something bad happens or something, to my leg. They can't be held responsible. So I can't. My next graduation is I'll be able to like do light jogs and things like that.
Nice.
And so that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's about that 3-month mark.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So you talked about that cardio piece, and you talked about getting back into kind of your routine of actually being able to work out for personal reasons rather than just to get yourself strengthened again. What are you most looking forward to when you come back? When you actually make that full recovery?
Say that again?
What are you most looking forward to when you get back to full strength?
Oh man, just honestly getting in the field and throwing. Like in my life, I think I took a month off one time of not throwing an actual shot, and that's when I hurt my leg before. And so this has just been a nightmare, honestly, of not being able to get out there and throw. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, just getting reunited with my love and getting out there and throwing. Honestly, that's my biggest. I just can't wait.
Have you been able to do any sort of putting at all, or has it been strictly?
I have. I went to this putting league, and the first week I was like doing, the one-footed ninja putt, staying off of that one, and that one, then I didn't really want to do that. But my PT gave me permission a few weeks ago to be able to putt a little bit.
Nice.
And so I have been putting just a tad bit, but I can't do it very long. I get really tired quick. So, but I do putt pretty much every day now.
Nice.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Well, we're super excited that you're on a good track and ahead of schedule. I know everybody will be super pumped when you do make your comeback to see you out there again. We want to do a giveaway, and we always got to have some parameters for our giveaway. So we are going to do 50 likes for the video, and comment your favorite mid-range, Discraft mid-range, obviously, in the comments below. And then I will pick out a winner chosen at random from that. So we have a sweet new Z-Wasp with the new stamp. The new stamps are super clean. They're looking nice orange with the hollow foil, max weight. Yeah, a little dome to her, probably some good glide. Honestly, feels like a really nice wasp. So comment your favorites mid-range below, like the video, and we'll get a winner for that. So we're going to move kind of to our next topic, which is the Disc Golf Pro Tour news, which is a pretty big deal for players, fans. I got to imagine for touring players as well. We saw Steve Dodge get bought out by Todd Rainwater, who runs the Nantucket Open, which is this coming weekend. And kind of his first order of business was to name Jeff Spring as the tour director in 2020. And I listened to the Smashbox interview with Jeff Spring, and he seems like a really awesome guy. Seems like the right guy for the job. And so we were curious, what are your opinions, Paul, as kind of a touring pro, on the buyout?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. Obviously, I'm actually really good friends with Todd. So,
nice.
So the fact that, he bought out the Pro Tour, like I'm ecstatic for that reason. I know that he's going to be a great owner and, make great decisions. Jeff Spring's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And he, the things that he's done with Green Mountain is just incredible in the last couple of years. I've said this many of times. It's my favorite tournament of the year now, each time that I go there. And the World Championships obviously treated me very well there. I'm just very comfortable up there, and that's a product of him and his crew and everything like that. So, I don't think there's a better person for that job. With that being said, though, I'm definitely gonna miss Steve Dodge. That guy's kind of been the face of a lot of these big tournaments, and now the Pro Tour since 2006 when I first started.
Yeah.
And I say that because when I look as a whole at all these big tournaments, we can even say the National Tour. The National Tour was there way before I was, and it seems to me like the National Tour has stayed the same for a very long time. And then we have the Pro Tour with Steve Dodge, at the head of that ship, do crazy things in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
For disc golf. And so, I'm definitely going to miss that. He really pushed the envelope and he wasn't ever scared of an idea. He wasn't ever scared to just steamboat ahead, and maybe that got in his way a little bit at sometimes, but disc golf has a lot. What am I trying to say?
We owe Steve Dodge a lot.
Yeah, exactly. We just owe, the game of disc golf just owes Steve Dodge. Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's taken some criticism, especially this year. But when you look at a whole at what Steve Dodge was able to accomplish with the Pro Tour, it's really impressive. I mean, a lot of people are probably going to, think about this year with dropping Jomez and Smashbox beginning of the year. But when you look at what he's done for disc golf, and especially for touring pros, and his entire body of work, there's a lot to be thankful for, whether you're just a fan of disc golf or a touring professional.
Oh yeah, it drove me nuts when I saw all the negative stuff about Steve Dodge and this and that, and everybody has their flaws, but to do what Steve Dodge did in the amount of time that he did it in, is just unbelievable. Because like I said, the National Tour's been here since I've been here, and then he was able to take the Pro Tour and give players this platform to double up basically and allow everybody to go out on tour and actually support themselves and have not only financial support but just a place to go, which is and something to look forward to at the end of the year with everything. And then that allows, I even believe that maybe that was one of Jomez's first gigs was the Pro Tour the first year, or some. I heard something like that. Don't take me for fact on that one, but he just provided that platform for everybody, and then to bring live every single weekend to the tour is just mind-boggling. So I'm glad that it's going to keep going, but I'm a big Steve Dodge supporter. So
yeah, does the change of ownership, do you think, impact either you or other touring pros positively or negatively at all?
It has to. I'll tell you this. I know Steve Dodge very well, and I know Todd very well. I don't know Jeff very well, but I do know him. And if they thought that this was the best decision, that it is, and it has to be a positive for everybody.
Yeah. Do you see any big changes coming from this move at all, or do you think that things will kind of be the same as 2019? Or
I hope so. I think in order for it to be successful, it's kind of gotta go stagnant kind of for a little bit and just kind of stay the pace, maybe not get a little too crazy with all this stuff, because it is some more new moving parts in it, and you got to make sure that you can just maintain from what they had before.
Yeah. So if we're looking, 5 years out from now, because I agree, I think that they kind of need to maintain, especially with new ownership, kind of get their bearings a little bit and get back to being profitable. But if we're looking 5 years out, what kind of changes do you see there? Do you see the Pro Tour doubling in size kind of as the sport grows, more events, less events?
That's hard to say. I mean, there's certain things that will have to happen in order for just disc golf to grow that big. So to double in size, I doubt it, but to grow as far as, what they're doing with live, that's like when I think about disc golf in general, like that's what's going to push our sport to the next level is live viewerships. I believe that. I think, not to throw any of the next day productions, because obviously I love all of them just like everybody, but when you think about next day production, I think of other sports, and I don't think I've ever watched a Steelers football game the next day.
Yeah.
It's
The
all
score,
live. And
the score.
so, I'm sorry?
I was gonna say the scores kind of ruin it. Maybe the same with UDisc Live being so popular. I think I'm guilty of it myself for some tournaments where you're just looking
Well,
at scores. You want to know who won, and you don't
yeah.
necessarily always want to see every single shot.
Well, it's people want to see it live, You don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't think I've ever watched. I'm the biggest Steelers fan of all time, and I've never watched the game the next day and a recap with different commentators. It's just not a thing that and like I said, that's not a knock on next day coverage. I want disc golf to get there. I want it to be so big to where that's not a thing, unfortunately, but that legitimizes our sport.
Yeah, I think to that point of the closest thing you'll get to a next day recap is the highlights, the aces, the big putts, and those
which is ESPN.
Yep, exactly. Those big highlight pieces and that kind of transition. I think you hit it right on the head. That transition between next day being the top dog, and now we're seeing a lot of that UDisc, like Wes said, and then the live is kind of the next natural progression in this line. Yeah.
Super cool. Well, I think that's all of our questions. Is there anything else you want to add, Uli, about the
Yeah, for sure.
Pro
absolutely.
Tour?
And I'm sorry?
I was going to say, is there anything else you want to add about the Pro Tour?
Oh, no. Super excited, though. Yeah, it's obviously any big news is good news for disc golf right now. And the fact that there's new ownerships and, all those rumors of it maybe going under and all this stuff is 100% not true now. And that's a big time positive for disc golf in general. So,
yeah. Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, I think that's everything that we have. You got anything else that you want to throw in, Alex?
Yep, here we go.
Do you want to watch more awesome videos? We know you do. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, turn on that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post new videos here at Underground Interviews.
And with that, thank you again, Uli, for joining us. Wes, for inviting me to participate in this. And I think that's it for us for today. And have a great evening. And we look forward to your recovery.